Our Region's Business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in you. And by Fregasso Financial Advisors. How different could your life be? Fee-based investment management securities offered through LPL Financial. Member FINRA SIPC. Our Region's Business. Innovation, transformation, momentum. Improving our communities and driving technologies that will shape our region for generations. The collaboration that brings vitality, prosperity, and life to living. Stay with us for the coming half hour as we examine in depth our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, a local startup takes aim at Alzheimer's disease, and PNC takes the pulse of our region's women business owners. But first, the great energy rush to our region, and it does involve more than natural gas drilling companies. One good example is one of our region's largest law firms, Eckert Seamans. Tim Ryan is managing partner, and John Hanger is special counsel for energy and the environment. And welcome. Good to see both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, well, you're fresh off a term as a Pennsylvania Secretary of the Department of Environmental Protection. Gave you a good overview of what's happening all the way across the Commonwealth, not just in all the natural gas stuff we hear so much about, but there's a lot going on in Pennsylvania these days.
There's a lot going on in Pennsylvania in solar, wind, energy efficiency, coal, nuclear, and it's very much concentrated in the Southwest, in the Pittsburgh region, but it does include the entire state. It's very, very exciting. There's a lot of jobs, there's a lot of opportunity. I know Eckert Seamans and Tim Ryan, my colleague, has a particular, I think, vantage point to see some of those business opportunities.
Yeah, well, from your standpoint, obviously the firm itself really focusing on this as a new area of opportunity as well, huh?
Well, in certain respects, Bill, yes, and certain no. The firm for 50 years has had fundamental practice areas which we believe are the core building blocks of a successful energy practice. There are opportunities in the intellectual property area, be they trade secret or patent protection, across the solar, wind, nuclear areas. There are wonderful opportunities in the environmental area, environmental law area, all the way down to different trucking law opportunities, labor, land use, real estate, and the firm has had tremendous expertise in those areas, which we have now pulled together into a very successful energy practice, which transcends well beyond natural gas, which seems to be getting a lot of the press, but as John indicated, has gone into areas like solar, like nuclear, like wind, biofuels, and the firm has been very active in all those areas.
Yeah, well, it speaks to the fact that we've got a lot of expertise built up over a long period of time in these industries.
We absolutely do. We've actually led some of the innovation, but we've also been a leader in the commercialization process and actually bringing to market, putting in people's homes and businesses, green buildings, energy efficiency solutions, more effective furnaces, developing the next generation of solar. This is a industry that has found Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania to be very welcoming and very nourishing.
What's happening out there right now that's kind of new and exciting that maybe isn't making all the headlines the way a lot of the coverage of the Marcellus shale industry is?
Well, I think two things that I would quickly identify. One is the real advances in efficiency within buildings. There's a wonderful opportunity, and actually PNC Bank is a leader of this and has demonstrated this, to build buildings that are more energy efficient and greener and actually cost less than the old-fashioned construction techniques. It used to be that there was a premium for green buildings, but increasingly strong environmental performance of a building also adds up to less dollars in the construction process, and that's a relatively new flip of the economics of a green building. The second thing that I would highlight is the tremendous advances across the supply chain in solar. I think solar is going to be a very big story over the next 5 years in the U.S. The market is booming. We're going to see a doubling of solar production in the U.S., but it's a story that includes not just the panels. There's a lot of equipment associated with the solar installation, inverters and other things. And Pittsburgh, again, in Pennsylvania, is well positioned to supply the global solar industry.
Oh, so it becomes an export industry for us as well.
It does. A company like PPG, Air Products, both big Pennsylvania really business icons, are now in fact developing solar products that they're selling to the global solar industry and are earning revenues. There are plants that PPG operates that now gets 5–10% of their total revenues each year from supplying product to the global solar industry.
Pretty amazing. You're talking about global giants like PPG. As you look at the companies you're working with as a firm, is it across the board, though? Are you seeing the light come on in some other traditional Pittsburgh companies that are now looking at energy as an opportunity, too?
What we're seeing is that there was a greater availability of capital for some of the newer technologies, which are now maturing and I think in getting greater traction with some of the more established enterprises. So companies like First Solar in Ohio may have been first to market with thin film solar technology, but having a very successful rollout and a very successful IPO, I think other companies are catching on that there's some serious opportunities in areas, as John pointed out, like solar.
Well, we've heard a lot about, you mentioned green building, we've talked a little bit about solar, but there's wind, nuclear, of course, long-standing effect. So are you seeing it across all these verticals as well, all these different types of industries here?
Absolutely. I think Pittsburgh and the Western Pennsylvania, the 10-county region, will remain a leader in coal, in nuclear. We're gaining traction in wind and biofuels, and it's just an exciting space to occupy right now from the legal community. There's a lot of opportunities.
If we can find the people, this has got to be smart to do all this kind of stuff, which means you got to have skills, you got to have engineers, you got to have smart lawyers, all the rest of it. That would seem to be a challenge for us going forward.
It is a little bit of a challenge, training some of the special skill sets, but we are strong in education in Pennsylvania and certainly in Pittsburgh area. We've got tremendous higher education institutions, and that is really one of the reasons why there's great synergy between the energy industries and our sort of pre-existing human capital. Carnegie Mellon, University of Pittsburgh, I can go on and on. I don't mean to slight any of our...
Right.
I went down a dangerous road there because it's a very long one and can't name them all. But the fact that you can't name them all is exactly why this region has a lot of the skill sets and the innovation ability that these industries do look for.
All right. Well, it's an exciting time for our region and much positive ahead. Tim Ryan from Eckert Seamans, John Hanger, thank you both so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And next up, taking the pulse of women business owners in our region. Stay with us.